If you enjoy the content on this channel, please like and subscribe. Bank of Dave is a 2023 British biographical comedy drama film directed by Chris Foggin, written by Piers Ashworth, and produced by Matt Williams, Karl and Piers Tempest. It stars Joel Fry, Phoebe Dynevor, Rory Kinnear, Hugh Bonneville, Kaye, Hartley and Cathy Tyson. It was released in the United Kingdom on the 16th of January 2023 by Netflix. The film is based on the real-life experiences of Dave Fishwick. It follows the story of the Burnley self-made millionaire who struggles to set up a community bank to help the town's local businesses to thrive. To do so, he must battle London's elite financial institutions and compete for the first banking license in more than 150 years. Pre-production for the film began on the 8th of January 2022 and filming commenced on the 28th of February 2022. The film was in post-production between the 18th of April to the 27th of September 2022, and the film was finally completed on the 22nd of December that year. Although some scenes were filmed in and around Burnley, most of the production was filmed in Bradford, Leeds and Wakefield in Yorkshire, including City Hall in Bradford, Production Park in Wakefield, with most of the pub and cafe scenes filmed in Leeds. The film gives a disclaimer at the start saying it is a true-ish story. While the basic story and some of the locations are true, with some scenes even being filmed at Dave Fishwick's own home, much of the film though is fictional. For example, the lawyer, Chris Moss, was based in Manchester, not in London, and was already married before meeting with Dave. There was no senior banker, Sir Charles Dinby, as shown in the film, who tipped off the Burnley police to bring a prosecution case against Dave Fishwick. Also, the famous rock band Def Leppard did not perform a fundraising concert at Turf Moor, the home of the Burnley Football Club, but the band did fly from the United States just to film their cameo in the film. A true bank has not yet been established and is actually Burnley Savings and Loans, a legal peer-to-peer lender. The capital portrayed as demanded by the Financial Services Authority was never raised, and so the company is still in the process of getting a banking license. Above the door of the actual building is a sign saying Bank on Dave. Because of the use of inverted commas, this now avoids the claim that it is an actual bank. Some interesting trivia notes. The real Dave Fishwick appears in the council meeting scene at the beginning of the movie. The Duck and Drake pub, which the characters often drink at, is located in Leeds, not Burnley, like most other locations used. Rory Kinnear and Joel Fry also both star in the comedic pirate series Our Flag Means Death. Fry plays the pirate Frenchie, and Kinnear plays the dual villain roles of Captain Nigel Badminton and his twin brother Admiral Chauncey Badminton. Rory Kinnear's father, Roy Kinnear, died in a horse riding accident when Rory was just a boy. In the court, the magistrate has a gavel. These aren't used in British courts. And magistrates are addressed as your worship, or sir or madam, not your honour. You would have known this going into court. Now, to say this is a feel-good underdog story would be an understatement. It's a light, easy kind of film. It really isn't too demanding and does make some viable points as well. For example, how the elite few control all the financial services in the world and make up the rules as they go along. Firstly, now let's discuss the true aspects of the story. Dave Fishwick is a real man. He's a self-made Burnley businessman who did in many ways take on London's elite banking institutes to get a license to open his own bank. And the film opens in the wake of the 2008 financial crash. Fishwick's customers are struggling to borrow from the high street, so he started lending them money, giving them a leg up as it were. But of course now, to operate as an official bank, he needs a license. And this is where the elite of London have decided he's not the right sort of chap to get this kind of license. This is though where the film does somewhat lose me a bit. To say this is even a true-ish story is really a falsehood. At the end of the day, this is a very highly fictionalized take on what could have been a truly inspirational story. Instead, here we have made-up concerts with Def Leppard performing, which never happened. Even the character of Hugh is completely fictionalized, albeit that Joel Fry delivers a very charming and likable performance here as the awkward but well-spirited lawyer. And the actual Bank of Dave isn't really actually a bank at the end of all of this. So in many ways, this acts like a sort of David versus Goliath battle. It's just a fairy tale, a nice well-rounded story that makes you want to believe that the small guy can change the way things are run, but in actuality, it's not quite as simple. The character of Dave for me is somewhat annoying in the film. He's an all-round good guy that wouldn't even harm a fly. And Kinnear does bring him to life pretty well, giving the character sort of down-to-earth mix as the sort of everyman that sort of struck it lucky. But a lot of the characters here seem to be copy and paste. And Hugh Bonneville is wasted here as the fat cat banker trying to get one over the smaller guy. As I mentioned earlier, Joel Fry turns out a charming performance, but I couldn't say I really believed the chemistry here between him and Fishwick's niece, the A&E doctor played here by Bridgerton's Phoebe Dynevor. And it was another element of the movie that wasn't really needed. Look, this is a charming, light, easy film, And you can't really argue with the film's overall message, that greed is bad and that so few are deciding for so many and are leading us astray, and we trust ourselves to these people and we don't even really know who they are or if they're even qualified for the position, but rather it's been handed to them because in many ways they're part of the old boys club. There's also some very funny moments too, particularly in the court, which I found a little bit too far-fetched, but in many ways it's so tongue-in-cheek you can't take it seriously. As in the film, it's even said that Hugh goes full Perry Mason. Look, straight away after watching this film, I of course had to read up about the real Dave Fishwick and did all of this happen, and I just found myself feeling somewhat disappointed when I realized that, for example, so little of this is actually true, that this is really a work of pure fiction. I mean, it's not to say that Dave Fishwick hasn't done some good in the community, and he has helped a lot of businesses and people get off the ground. So his intentions are good, but the film, though, does dramatize it a bit, maybe too much for my liking. The film is fundamentally a feel-good romp, but it can cross over into the smolchy territory every now and again. So look, it's one of these films where you've just got to switch off, sit back and relax, and be charmed with the delightful little film that tells a lovely tale, but really doesn't amount to much. The Bank of Dave gets a 7.5 out of 10.